Welcome, everyone, to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We are racing here in New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Loudon, New Hampshire, up in New England, plays host to the start of this one for Scott 125, Celebration of Life, one of the extended first community. Carmen in pole position. Lead the field around. Happy Easter weekend to everyone watching here on ABM. Glad you're with us. Things ready to go here. Hampton and Galloway from 16 trucks ready to go here in Hampton. These cars go off the racetrack. Showtime is here. We're underway and racing in New Hampshire. Big lap. Return to restore. Gates down in front. Galloway slots in line in second. Are underway. No presence for Toby Estes. Spot six empty. At the moment. Appreciate everyone filling in on the audio. That is correct. We were working on a separate project, so we hadn't had a chance to get everything adjusted. Audio should be fine now. Give me a thumbs up if that is a lot better. Should be a lot better here. Just had to change the mixing. We do have 15 trucks on the racetrack. Gaiman leads the way from pole position. Galloway a little loose there out of turn 2. Battling with Bren Roberts, the 84. Chris Fleming and Dale Markowski round out your top 5 at the moment. Single file still, all 15 cars though still rolling. Last week in St. Petersburg, smaller field. It was Aiden Norman that grabbed the race win. No Aiden on the racetrack. We do have Bobby Flowers who finished second at St. Pete a week ago. He is currently sitting in the 11th spot. Josh Gaiman, though, is the one out in front at the moment. There's Bobby Flowers, 42 on your screen. Driving that 42 Outlaws Esports Ram. That was Colin McDonough that slapped the fence out of turn 2. Cool. Thank you for everyone filling me in on the audio. We got the mixing figured out there. It was a simple preset switch there. Recording promo material for announcements coming up here later on this month. But Flowers trying to make his way forward at the moment. He has gotten himself up to 10th, having gotten around McDonough. He is up 2 spots from where he started. Gaiman, though, leads the way. You have a 16th car finally on the racetrack. That is Toby Estes. That is now on the racetrack. He is 7 laps down. But he is on the racetrack officially, so we do have our full 16 truck field. We do have stage cautions up and coming here. Lap 31 and lap 63 are when you'll find the stage breaks. Roberts trying to close in here on Josh Gaiman. The Rams have been pretty successful since their debut a few weeks ago. However, the best Ram at the moment is in the... It's listed as 6th, but Fleming's back in Chevrolet here in the 7th position. Matt Vorndren is the best Ram at the moment in this battle. Chris Fleming obviously racing with some heavier heart this weekend, on Easter weekend. Unfortunately, a member of his family, his uncle, Scott, who the race is named after, went through a cardiac arrest episode and has not regained consciousness. And so a celebration of life was put in order for this event. Fleming racing with that heavier thought, with that clouded mind, trying to distract himself with what he loves the most, racing, whether it's real life or amongst this community on iRacing. He's here because he wants to be here and because this community wants him to be here. They want to support him, and they're doing just that. He has lost 2 spots, though. And trouble. That was a little bit of confusion. That I think is Toby Estes, though. And it is not. That was Robert Keach Jr. is who it was, the 21. And that Jack Link's Toyota. Keach now down to 11th. It is George Ward making his first high-octane start in the 98 truck right behind him. Gaiman, though, still out in front here through the first 15 laps in this race. Toby Estes has pulled it back behind the wall. Only 4 laps completed. And that will probably call his race ball game at this point. Gaiman, Roberts, and Galloway your top 3. Blowers side by side with Fleming. Down the front straightaway. Fleming trying to take a spot back. Blowers trying to hold on to 7th, back where he started. Matt Vorndren up in the 6th spot at the moment. Pretty close there between 3rd through 6th. There's Galloway leading this line, this group of 4. Markowski, Markowski, Kyle St. Jean, and Matt Vorndren are all in that conversation. Fleming's going to lose another spot. He's in trouble, and cars around, and caution's out for the first time. So let's take a look at what happened here to Chris Fleming to draw our first caution of the night. This is high above, slow motion. This is a battle between Fleming and Feemster I don't think has much of a choice here. Fleming just gets loose. Slides up the racetrack, and no one makes contact with him. He just gets loose on the brakes. Maybe a little bit of wheel hopping there for the 18. Not a heavy contact with the outside wall as well, thankfully. So should not be difficult to get that car repaired. But he is now at the tail end of the field, 15th, but on the lead lap, as everyone right now is on the lead lap. Several trucks coming down pit lane. Josh Gaiman leading them down. 4 stay out. Roberts, Galloway, St. Jean, and Elrich George. As we sit under caution for the first time. Again, first stage break comes on the end of laps 31. We're under caution. QR code up in the right-hand side of your screen. A lot of stuff coming out on Patreon this week. Well, we've had a relatively down period. No Winstall tomorrow. HTL Double Barrel Challenge on Monday from Michigan and Kansas. On Wednesday, you've got ABN Champ Car, the doubleheader from Texas. They have podcasts coming up as well. ABN Sports Report, our new weekly podcast. As well as Beyond the Driver's Seat, this week's guest, Emily Howe. Former ABN World Champion, former Winstall 400 champion, close friend to ABN community. We'll talk to her on Thursday this week. All that will be available on Patreon. The QR code will help you get started. But we are getting ready to go. 15 cars ready to get back underway. It is Brendan Roberts, Blake Galloway, Kyle St. Jean, and Elrich George, the top 4. All of them stayed out, looking for track position. Fresh tires from Gaiman in 5th all the way back. Pace truck is in. And the green flag flies. Away we go. Great restart there for Roberts. By Blowers, though, he is trying to slice and carve his way through. He is now up to 3rd. 9 spots gained from his starting spot. But it's not going to be an easy fight. He's got to try to thread the needle between Galloway and St. Jean. 3 wide out of 2, and St. Jean bit it. Heavy contact to the inside wall for the 55 of Kyle St. Jean. Galloway held on to 2nd. Blowers held on to 3rd. 3 out of 2 does not work. It just tightens up a little too much. And unfortunately, St. Jean had the least amount of room to give and paid for it. Blowers on fresher tires, though, still charging. Looks to the inside. They go below the white line. You can definitely do that here at New Hampshire. The only places you can't are Atlanta, Daytona, and Talladega. But here comes Galloway. Galloway to the front. And Galloway drives with the racetrack high. Remember, he's also got old tires. Here comes Blowers, sideways out of 2. Everyone stepping out sideways in this lead pack. 4 cars sitting back a little bit further, beginning with Fleming. Fleming, Kerr, Wright, and George all in line there further back, waiting to see how this Hornet's Nest plays out. Side by side out of 4 for the race lead. Galloway leads that lap. Now on lap 25 of 125. And Blowers, fresher tires do eventually prevail. And trouble further back. That is McDonough. A huge accident and the second caution of the night. Huge impact there from McDonough, and that will negatively affect his race. So let's take a look. This is from high above. Side by side with George Ward. Ward just snaps loose on the exit of turn 2 into his teammate, McDonough, who finds the wall in quick order there at turn 2. Obviously, it falls away for the road course portion. McDonough doesn't get that reprieve. He finds the sword into the stick pretty quickly. And unfortunately, not a whole lot he can do in that circumstance. Right on board with them. And it's just that quick. It is genuinely just that quick. Unfortunate. So down pit lane he comes. You see he took his fast repair. All right, so second restart. This will take us to the stage break. Whether we get to lap 31 or not, if a caution comes out before that, the stage will end on that caution. Blowers, Markowski, Vondren, Keach, your top 4. Fresh tires all at the front. You see the 18 of Fleming, the 75 of Kerr. George and Galloway, your top 8. Pace truck is in. The green flag flies, and away we go once again. Sail down into turns 1 and 2, getting up to speed. Contact further back, George and Bradley Wright. Will that cause the yellow? Not sure. Bryn Roberts a lap down. Bradley Wright, last car on the lead lap now. They're going to let it roll at the moment. Blowers, Keach, Markowski, top 3. Markowski didn't quite get the restart he was hoping for. Lost a spot to the 21. The 21 on the same age tires as Blowers, but Blowers, remember, he burned his stuff up pretty quickly, trying to get to the race lead before that second caution came out. White flag in stage 1. 21 trying to get to the front of the field. Blowers drives up the middle of the racetrack. Keach tries their late apex. Blowers steps it out. There's going to be side-by-side into 3 and 4. Looking for the stage win. Who's it going to be? Markowski watching, trying to hold on to third. Blowers drives it hard at a 4. And it will be Blowers. He wins stage 1. Keach in second. Markowski, Vorndren, and Gaiman, they round out the top 5 in that order over Chris Fleming, James Kerr, Kevin Beamster, Blake Galloway, Kyle St. Jean gets the final stage point. Just like that. So pit stops happening under this stage break. Bren Roberts will get the free pass. And with that, we will step aside for a quick moment. Refreshment break up and coming here in New Hampshire as we get ready for stage number 2. Get ready to go back racing here to start stage number 2, our third caution of the night, our third restart coming up. It is Blowers and Gaiman front of the field. We're back underway. And Blowers gets a really good restart once again. All 15 cars back on the lead lap. Gaiman over-undering, trying to get back to the race lead that he had at the start of the race when he was on pole position. Drives it in deep. Gaiman on lap 26. Blowers on lap 18. Gaiman's got fresher tires, and he gets out in front. Here comes Galloway, also on lap 26. And now it's Blowers on the other foot here. Here comes Feemster, the 17. Blowers tags the wall for the second time. Slots in line in third, but under pressure. Kyle St. Jean, the 55. Also trying to move forward here. St. Jean pit on 26 as well. Blowers, the only driver That pit on lap 18, still on the racetrack. Everyone else has pit more recently. So he has got to try to stick this one out however he can. Missed the opening 5 races. His debut came last week in St. Petersburg. So realistically, I don't think he's really title chasing at the moment. He is just trying to win races. Trouble. Keach in the fence. And more trouble further back. Keach came off the nose of Feemster, the 17. I don't know if Keach was trying to clear himself or what. But the second time, Keach has had a run-in, and this time a little more physical. We'll take a look at our 4th caution of the night. From high above, slow motion, quarter speed. And that's on Feemster. Feemster bounces off the fence and into the door of the 21, hooks him back the other way. And then they unhook at the worst time. Not a whole lot that George Ward can do there. Not a whole lot that the 33 of Markowski can do. Brent Roberts, Bradley Wright, James Kerr, they just have to try to take avoiding action the best they can. And around he goes for the ride. And so pit stops underway for the 4th time. And again, it's a split field coming down pit lane. It's not a universal decision. Go racing for their 4th restart here to be Josh Gaiman, Blake Galloway at the front of the field, and then Kyle St. Jean and Chris Fleming. Averaging right now a caution every 10 laps, which is not outstanding, but when you think about one of the cautions being the stage break, kind of puts things in perspective. I know that a lot of the drivers want a long green flag run. They want to see what these tires can do. Everyone on different strategies at this point. We'll see how this plays out if we can get that longer green flag run. Again, 15 trucks, all of them on the lead lap here. Toby Estes ran 4 laps after missing the start with a technical failure. And that technical failure reared its head a second time and left him with just 4 laps on the racetrack. But he did take to the track, so he will score points in the 19 truck here tonight. The other 15 still in the running. Green flag flies. Away we go. Gaiman and St. Jean on the inside lane got the better start, and so did Kevin Feemster. And they're trying to advance. Fresh tires for George Ward, Bobby Blowers, Bradley Wright, Elvis George, James Kerr, Dale Markowski, and Robert Keach Jr. all on fresher tires here. Older tires at the front. Top 3 all came down on lap 26. Side by side, battling for that second spot. St. Jean over Galloway is how that is out of turn 2. Galloway set the fast lap of the race at 30.28. So they hold on to that second spot. Got it back from St. Jean. But they're still side by side. Fleming has also made a resurgence here. We talked about his story early on in this race. Racing with a heavy heart and a heavy mind. He is up into the top 4. Bren Roberts behind him in 5th. As Galloway and St. Jean continue to battle for that second spot through turns 1 and 2 this time on lap 45. And Galloway will try to pull away this time. Rolling out of turn 4. Gaiman has opened up almost 7/10 of a gap. Matt Vorndren side by side. This is with Beamster, the 17, the 00. As they roll around the racetrack here, this is the battle for the 6th spot behind Fleming. Fleming's lost spot to Bren Roberts in pretty quick order. Bren Roberts on fresher tires there, moving forward. Feemster on older tires. He pit on lap 26. Vorndren on 32. Feemster trying to nurse those tires the best that he can. They've got to try to get to lap 61 to the end of stage 2. If we can get there under grain, it'll put everyone back on the same strategy as far as tires and fuel. The question is, can we get there? Vorndren closing in on Fleming. 00 and the 18 on the racetrack here, battling now for the top 5. Trouble further back. Keach is in trouble in the fence, single car. And he did tag the inside wall there. We stay green. George Ward ahead of Bobby Blowers trying to chase down Feemster. This is in the top 10, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Side by side for second place. Once again, it's St. Jean and Galloway. Cal St. Jean trying to drive himself up the racetrack here. Gets second, but gets loose. See if Galloway can pounce on it. These two battling and Bren Roberts closing in has allowed Josh Gaiman to pull out over a second out in front. Your pole sitter feeling comfy here in New England. St. Jean and Galloway side by side. Roberts, he's got momentum on his side, and that 84 Carvana machine just behind. It is now a 3-horse race for that second spot. And now Galloway's got to focus his attention both behind and in front as they battle for the top 3 spots. Fleming still sitting somewhat comfortable up in the 5th position. Contact between the 5 and the 55. And this is going to be an opportunity for Roberts to put his nose in the mix. St. Jean heavy on the throttle out of turn 4 once again. Lights up the rear tires. Trying to get back to the 5. Typically Galloway would be in the 05 here, but since there's no Seth Wansing in the field, he's got the 5 to himself this week. Trouble further back. James Kerr in the fence. Turn 2 has been a trouble spot. Keach has had trouble. McDonough's had trouble. And now Kerr. And the caution does come out. And it neutralizes Gaiman's gap. Galloway sitting in 2nd, St. Jean in 3rd, Bren Roberts in 4th, and now we get to see who bites for an early pit stop here. If I were a gambler, I would stay out and then just come down at the end of stage 2 on lap 62. That's what I would do. Don't come in right now. Come in on the end of lap 62 and reset yourself for this for the second half of this race. Realistically, this, I think what you should do. We'll see if anyone bites. And a couple do. Gaiman comes in from the race lead. A little over half come down pit lane. 6 cars stay out. Galloway, St. Jean, Roberts, Fleming, Feemster, Markowski all stay out. Gaiman, Vondren, Blowers, Wright, McDonough, Keach, George, Kerr, and Ward all down pit lane here for our 5th caution of the night. Get ready to go back racing here in New Hampshire. It'll be about a 7-lap dash to the end of stage 2. Top 6 on older tires. And it will be pretty exaggerated here on this restart. James Kerr a lap down, but still rolling. 14 on the lead lap. If he can stick around and stick it out a little bit, he should be able to get his lap back here on the stage break as the field gets ready to go for this 5th restart of the night. Green flag flies, away we go. Even spacings in the top 6. However, what's it going to look like further back? Gaiman on fresher tires. He's going to try to shoot to the middle. Car almost spun. That was Fondren in the back. We stay green. He corrected. He saved it. But he will lose out on stage points more than likely here. Gaiman on fresh tires. He's trying to blitz to the field here. So is Bobby Blowers. Trouble! Trouble! Huge crash. 6th yellow coming out. That was the 5 of Galloway, who ended up heavy, sideways, and smacked by several other trucks for our 6th caution of the evening. And this one, a little bit further back. We'll have to try to probably adjust this one. So yeah, the caution's already started here. And he 100% got helped. He absolutely got helped by Kyle St. Jean. These two have been physical all night. Let's back it up for a hot second. This is down the back straightaway. Galloway, St. Jean, the 55, and then the Hornet's Nest just behind. Quarter speed, slow motion here. Galloway and St. Jean. St. Jean still in the lead of the race. Galloway trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack, and St. Jean just gets to the bumper. Tags him once. Does it get him a second time? He absolutely does. Gets him a third time, because here he goes off the right side. And that's what ultimately gets Galloway out of control here. And Gaiman sees it, tries to get out of the way, but can't. Fleming gets away with it in the 18 truck. Good avoidance from Fleming in the 18. Roberts, and he's going to get a little bit here. There he does. Ultimately, could have been a lot worse, but at full speed, it looks pretty violent. So we're going to back it up and look from Fleming's perspective, because Fleming's perspective is pretty wild. We'll see if we can ride on board with him, because he was in that battle for third. Loose, 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 loose. Got away with that one. He's up to second place now. Galloway down in the 13th position for what should be, I think, a 2-lap dash to end stage 2. I believe is where we're at on this. So we'll have a 7th caution in quick succession, I believe. If my memory serves me correct on this one. It did get James Kerr back on the lead lap before the end of the stage. He is at the tail end of the field as the free pass recipient. But now it's time to figure out how this stage is going to end. Yeah, 2 very quick race cars on fresh tires further back. Fleming and St. Jean, they are pulling the strategy game here. St. Jean not racing for points. Fleming very much is. Green flag flies, and away we go. Older tires for the front, too. Fresher tires for everyone else. And here comes Flowers. 42 in quick succession. Tries to go to the inside and will have to deal with Fleming on the exit. Coming to the white flag in stage 2. Oh, trouble. George got sent by Bradley Wright. Saves it, though, I do believe. Yes. Good save for George Ward. And good job for everybody else avoiding him. Flowers struggled, lost the position, lost third to Gaiman. Gaiman, who is still wearing the battle wounds from that incident before. St. Jean with the dump and run. It'll help him win stage 2. Fleming, Flowers, and Gaiman your top 4. As stage 2 comes to an end. And they're going to leave it racing because of the proximity of the caution, the 6th yellow. They're going to leave it racing here. And trouble, car in the fence, that is Gaiman. Gaiman hard on the outside wall. And there's the yellow for the 7th time. McDonough set the fastest lap of the race. Now up in the 4th spot, and the caution comes out a lap late. I think I am actually mistaken. I think, let me double check here. Yeah, stage ended on 63. So we were coming to the end of the stage. I had it a lap early. Have my notes crossed up. It was the end of lap 63. Caution coming out with Josh Gaiman's car in the fence. Ends it before the start-finish line, and the field comes down pit lane together. So while the field's down pit lane, let's take a look at what happened to Josh Gaiman. Slow motion, quarter speed from the blimp cam. This is approaching turns 3 and 4. Does McDonough send him up to the fence? Absolutely gets him up there. Hard hit, too. McDonough sent it trying to go for the position. He got it. But Gaiman's race effectively over as a result of all of that. Let's take an onboard here from Josh Gaiman's perspective. On board the Costco machine. Doesn't take much, but he completely killed his truck. And we're right on board with McDonough. And see what his perspective was like here. Yeah, just sends it in pretty deep there. Drifts up just enough. And that's all she wrote. Huge reshuffle coming up here on the start of stage number 3. Matt Vorndren, Dale Markowski, front and center. Blake Galloway, Colin McDonough, row 2. Kevin Feimster, Bobby Blowers, row 3. And then it's Fleming and Ward, row 4. Pace truck is in. The green flag flies. Stage 3 is underway. Vorndren leads the first lap off the 7th restart of the night. Here comes the 5 of Galloway. He sent it in really deep on the inside lane, really driving that car through. But Vorndren has the exit. Car on the fence further back. That's George. Or it's George further back. Out of the top 10. Josh Gaiman is back out on the racetrack. He has 2 laps down using a quick repair. Trouble further back. Fleming. Wrong way around. 8th caution coming up. St. Jean involved again. That'll give Gaiman one of his laps back, I do believe. Trouble for Fleming and Kyle St. Jean for our 8th caution here in New Hampshire. Let's take a look. Looking at Fleming, the bright color car in the center of your screen. St. Jean to his left, to his inside. And St. Jean just gets loose. Just tries powering out of it, gets loose like we've seen so many times from in this race already. Hip checks the 18. Nowhere for Feimster to go. Not really much place for Josh Gaiman to go. Gaiman does get involved in this, so he will not get his laps back here. He does get a piece of it. But it sends both the 55 and the 18 backwards here. Thankfully, it doesn't look like a lot of damage, not a lot of contact either. So they should be able to get themselves recovered and back up on their way. But that does not help. And if you're Josh Gaiman, you're kind of upset because that was your first chance of trying to get one of those 2 laps back. Fastest truck in the field, but stuck 2 laps down. Not a pleasant feeling. Feeling absolutely trapped. Vorndren leads over Galloway, Blowers, and Ward. in your top 4. Robert Keats Jr. in the top 5. Ahead of Bren Roberts, Bradley Wright, Colin McDonough, and Elrich George, with Dale Markowski rounding out your top 10. Green flag flies. We're back underway. 8th restart of the night. Door to door, Blowers and Galloway behind Vorndren. George Ford, he's trying to mix it up here. He's in the top 5. Galloway gets to the outside of Vorndren here. Tries over-undering. Feemster is in trouble. He's in the grass out of turns 3 and 4. And Robert Keats Jr. comes down the pit lane. So some calamity further back in the running order, but we stay green. Avoiding the 9th caution for now. Side by side, Galloway on the outside lane, closest to the wall. Vorndren with that orange nose on the inside lane. Galloway is a little bit quicker than Vorndren is at the moment. And he's going to get clear. Vorndren on older tires does not help him. He pit on lap 53, Galloway on lap 64. And Galloway just set the fast lap of the race, 30.12, while battling to get to the front of the field. Here comes Bren Roberts as well, to 84th. Vorndren down to 3rd. Run the very far outside lane on the entry. He's trying to late apex turns 3 and 4 here. So many different lines you can run in these trucks here at New Hampshire. It's a lot of fun. In the ABN Champ Car machine, not so fun. It's kind of just riding near the wall and have as much exit speed as possible. But in these trucks, you can dance around a lot. Roberts closing in. Fast slap goes to Kyle St. Jean. He is down in the 5th spot. He's trying to climb forward. Dealing with Blowers, dealing with Vorndren. Steps out sideways once again and loses momentum at a turn 2. Trying to put the power down a little bit too heavy. Galloway continues to lead. We'll see if the ebb and flow changes here. St. Jean drives underneath. He's going to try to clear himself, and he does. He gets clear. Like that, St. Jean moves up to 3rd. It's super heavy on the throttle. He steps it out. It's not going to help those tires last. And that's something you have to be concerned about is that he is going to wear the tires out a lot quicker than the likes of Galloway and Roberts because he is pushing so hard. He is dancing out of turn 2 and out of turn 4 every lap. Is it exciting? Yeah. Is it fruitful for potentially winning a long-run game? Absolutely not. But again, he's not championship racing. He is looking for a race win. Unfortunately, so is Galloway. And so is Ben Roberts. They're hoping for a little bit of a long run, though, at the front of the field. They want to be able to stretch those legs out a little bit. See what they can do. St. Jean gets to the bumper of Bren Roberts. Can't quite get the overlap on him, though. Robert Keach Jr., his day is over. He will be classified in the 15th position. Side by side for the second spot. St. Jean to the bottom. Ben Roberts up top. St. Jean's going to have to try to drive out hard. And he does. And Roberts immediately goes back on the underneath. Just doesn't send it in as deep as St. Jean does. Again, he's trying to take care of those tires. St. Jean just lighting him up. Just like that, you saw that little wiggle, that tank slap from the 55. More planted there out of turn 4 that time. There's a close battle, though. This is from the spotter stand. Two different mounds here at New Hampshire. Pick a side, any side. It is close in your top 3 at the moment. And it's a second and a half down to Matt Vorndren in 4th. St. Jean still hot in that battle. Got to have eyes in every direction, both in front and behind here. Roberts looking to capitalize if St. Jean makes a mistake or if St. Jean and Galloway force each other into a mistake. These two have already run into each other twice in this race, the 5 and the 55. Very close to how it was in stage 1 with these two. With really these 3, because Ben Roberts was in 3rd watching this happen. St. Jean sends it in pretty deep there in turns 3 and 4. See how the drive off is. Galloway hot on that quarter panel and will not let the 55 get clear. Drag race to start finish line. St. Jean did lead that lap. Galloway, a thorn in his side. And there is, I think, a receipt that is owed by the 5 to the 55. When does Galloway decide that he wants to take that receipt? We'll find out. Top 3 under a blanket, though. Battling for this race lead. Galloway goes at the racetrack. Bren Roberts goes to the bottom. They're battling now for second place. And there you go. Galloway sends it in deep in the turn 3 and 4 and sends the 55 up the racetrack a little bit of door banging. And Galloway gets clear out of turns 3 and 4, leads again to complete lap 88. Lap 89 underway. Galloway almost got clipped again by the 55. The 55 sends it through in turns 1 and 2 and tags the fence hard out of turn 2. Galloway goes through. Roberts on the way. And a little bit of contact between the 55 and the 84. Almost contact again. Elbows out. This will allow Matt Vorndren back within a second and a quarter. Whoa, in trouble. St. Jean sent up into the fence by Roberts. And that looked a little bit like a receipt. That looked a little bit like a receipt from Brent Roberts to Kyle St. Jean. And St. Jean finds his way around. Involved in now his fourth caution of 10. Well, let's take a look here. And we're going to need a better angle than what we got right now. So let's go ahead and try that again. There we go. A little bit better of an angle here. And we need, I think, to send it back a little bit. And kind of get a good gauge as to what happened here. Do a little bit of investigative work. We'll go full speed for the moment. He tags the fence hard here. Galloway gets through and clear. And I'm trying to figure out what happened with between him and Brent Roberts here. Both going for the same real estate. I don't think there's anything malicious there. I think St. John's trying to squeeze him tight, but again, in these trucks, you just do that. I don't know if Roberts took that bounce off the wall as a slight towards him, but then just pays him back hard. Very physical racing, but I don't know, unless there's an incident that happened before and Robert and that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm not entirely sure. And again, I'd have to kind of jump back and take a look here. It would have to be out of that wobble out of turn 4 because he's loose here. He skewed sideways and he corrects it, but it forces Roberts. And I wonder if Roberts thinks that was a dig at him. Because St. John was just loose at a turn 4 there. And this is on board with Roberts here. It could be the squeezing. It could be in response to the squeezing, but I don't doubt in my mind that there was a receipt being paid there. And this is going to get very interesting because the 5, the 55, and the 84 are 3rd, 4th, and 5th behind Bobby Blowers and Matt Vorndren. Blowers has not pit since lap 64. Everyone else pit on lap 91. So this could get interesting. Josh Gaiman did finally get one of his laps back. You see how this top 5 sort of fans out. Green flag is back out. 10th restart underway here in New Hampshire. .55 goes below the white line. So does the 5 on the exit, and St. Jean gets loose again. Did he get help for the second time? Huge hit for multiple trucks, it looks like. I don't know if Josh Gaiman got a piece of it. That was the truck that you saw slow there. And that is now the 5th of 11 cautions that St. Jean has been a part of in tonight's event, in some capacity. We'll take a look back here. And we'll actually take a look from the spotter's cam to see how this all plays out. Third car in line on the inside lane behind the 5, 55, center of your screen. No contact. He just gets loose. Again, he tries flooring it out of turn 2 and just bites it. Josh Gaiman will get his other lap back here because he avoided making contact with the 55. So great job for Josh Gaiman. He will get back on lead lap. He did just, I think, get the free pass. But unforced error there for the 55 of Kyle St. Jean. And it sorts him back to the back of the field in 13th place. With all 14 trucks still running, now on the lead lap, Josh Gaiman, the free pass recipient, on your screen. And he will come down. He will grab, with about less than 30 laps to go, see if he grabs tires or not. He's back down the pit lane. Top 5 on your screen. Matt Thorndren, Blake Galloway, Bobby Flowers, Brendan Roberts, and now Bradley Wright in your top 5 rotation. As we get ready to go racing for our 11th restart of the night. Matt Thorndren, Blake Galloway, Bobby Flowers, Brendan Roberts, your top 4, Bradley Wright, Dale Markowski, your top 6, George Ward, and Chris Fleming in your top 8, your top 10, Colin McDonough, and James Kerr. 14 trucks all on the lead lap, and away we go with 11th restart underway. With 28 laps to go. Side by side for third between Roberts and Flowers. Galloway looks to the inside. No dice there into turn 3. See if he can get that rally out of turn 4. Oldest tires in the field for Bobby Flowers, the 42 in 4th. He's trying to hang in there. Driving in deep for the race lead. Thorndren trying to hold on to it. Trouble further back. Kerr spun around into the fence again. 12th caution of the night. Not sure if that was off the nose of, but it is James Kerr that was spun around. And we will be able to take a look here at what happened to James Kerr. And we'll look at it in full speed. It looks like it's off the nose of George Ward, the 98. And I think Kerr was breaking loose out of turn 2 before the contact with Ward. George Ward just helped finish him off. So everyone gets a reset here. Coming to 25 laps to go under caution, our 12th caution of the night. It is unfortunate that we've not had a chance at an actual green flag run. Unfortunately, that means strategy has also not played a factor in this race. Less than 25 laps to go. 12th restart coming up. It was Thorndren and Galloway once again at the front of the field for this restart. So we'll see how this pans out. Green flag flies, and away we go once again. Thorndren out in front with Galloway, Roberts, Wright, and Markowski, your top five. Battling here further back. A little bit of contact there between Fleming and Ward. Side by side. Fleming and Markowski for that fifth spot. Car in the fence further back. I believe that was George again. Josh Gaiman, he's back in the top 10. He's in 8th. Trying to scratch his way forward. He has had an up and down race. Brent Roberts, first driver to break into the sub-30-second range. 29.96 for Brent Roberts, fastest man on the racetrack. Albert George struggling again out of turn 2. Coming to 20 to go. Question is if anyone can get around Matt Thorndren. Blake Galloway is going to give it another shot. Bit of a wiggle there for Roberts. Everyone pushing harder. It is a four-car fight at the front from Thorndren down the Briley right. We've not said his name much in this race. The 51 is now near the front where it matters. Thorndren, Galloway, Roberts, Wright, Fleming, your top five. Fleming under pressure from George Ward. He's looking for a top 5 on his high-octane debut. Gaiman up to the door of Fleming in this battle for 5th. And there's not a whole lot I think Fleming can do here. Fresher tires for Gaiman. He has sliced and diced to the field. The pole sitter back up into the top 5 after spending part of this race 2 laps down. Now he's got in 15 laps to try to get to the top 4. A caution would help him out. He just needs to try to avoid being the caution. as Blowers and Markowski fight it out for the 8th spot. And a little bit of contact between the 2 and the 3 and 4. Been a very physical race. 12 cautions in this event. 14 laps to go. Everyone ducking and dipping and dodging in and out. Blowers up to 8th, Markowski in 9th. Kevin Feemster rounds out your top 10 at the moment. Battle for second place. Trouble further back, I believe. That was George Ward, the 98. And he's going to try to battle back with Kevin Feemster for that 9th spot. Meanwhile, Brent Roberts has gotten around Matt Vorndren. Blake Galloway also got around him. So there's been a shuffle for the race lead with coming to 12 laps to go. Now coming to 11 to go. Vorndren tried sitting it in deep there. Roberts was in the way. Roberts set the fastest lap of the race. He's the only man that's gotten below 30 seconds on a lap. But Galloway, I think, may have taken a little bit better care of his tires. 4/10 is the gap. 11 to go. There's a slow car in the way. That is Kyle St. Jean, whose race is falling apart pretty rapidly here. Huge gap between Gaiman and Blowers to the tune of about a second. Blowers has gotten around Fleming. Fleming down to 7th. This is going to be interesting. St. Jean now in front of Galloway. Oh, dear. I have a feeling I'm not sure we're going to like the way this one's going to end. St. Jean in the fence. How hard is he going to fight the race leader? Very hard. Door to door. Oh, this is not going to end well. St. Jean tried flooring it out of turn 2. Lost the positional advantage there. And now Galloway's got to drive extra hard here. Top 5 all close together now. But the clock is ticking away. This could get interesting too. The 55 and the 84, and I think the 55 is going to get out of the way. He is. St. Jean going a lap down. Unfortunately, it gave Galloway a 6/10 advantage. All the meanwhile there. So Galloway now has a lot more control over his fate with 6 laps to go. And the entire rest of the field currently right now just battling for second place. Gaiman and Briley Wright side by side for 4th. Flowers in 6th. He's almost caught up to this group. Contact further back. Fleming and McDonough both tagged the fence. In that battle further back, that is the second half of the top 10, all the way back to the last cars on the lead lap. Galloway with 5 to go leads by 6/10. Vorndren and Roberts battling for second. Josh Gaiman in that battle now for the podium places, as is Bobby Blowers and Bradley Wright. St. John in the pit lane. I believe he is pulled his truck behind the wall, and I think he is done. And the laps continue to count down. Right out of the corner there for Gaiman. He's looking for the podium. Fortune and Roberts will not make it easy for him. Under a blanket in a couple different areas here, side by side, Fleming, McDonough, Kerr, and Feemster. All in the conversation there. That is for the 9th spot. For those trying to get into the top 10. Gaiman gets to the right quarter panel. And he's going to have to drive off here. Forndren got really sideways, got really squirrely out of 4th. And side by side they go with 2 to go, 2 miles left to play here in New Hampshire. The Magic Mile has been chaotic here tonight. But Blake Galloway can see the light at the end of the tunnel. He's got to get through one more lap. Gaiman up to 3rd, the pole sitter. Out of reach from the race win. Blake Galloway takes the white flag. We're on the last lap. Roberts and Gaiman battling for second. Long-time interleague rivals. Side by side. Gaiman drives it through turns 3 and 4 a little bit deeper. Forndren trying to capitalize. Blake Galloway is going to win here in New Hampshire. Gaiman grabs second. Roberts grabs 3rd to round out the podium. Matt Forndren and Bobby Blowers round out your top 5 here at the Magic Mile. But it is Matt Forndren who misses out. Blake Galloway grabs the race win. First race this season for Galloway. And he is victorious here at New Hampshire. Ben Roberts in 3rd, Josh Gaiman in 2nd, Matt Forndren missing out on the podium in 4th. Bobby Blowers rounds out the top 5. Talk to your podium finishers here in just a moment. Blake Galloway, though, burning it down here in New Hampshire. Full results on your screen here from the Magic Mile. Blake Galloway, Josh Gaiman, they inverted positions ultimately at the end of this race, both of them on the front row. Galloway grabs the win. Gaiman from pole position recovers to 2nd place. Bryn Roberts rounds out the top 3 ahead of Matt Forndren. Bobby Blowers, Bradley Wright, Dale Markowski, Colin McDonough, George Ward, and James Kerr rounding out your top 10 here in New England. Kevin Feemster missing out on the top 10 ahead of Chris Fleming, whose race fell apart late. Elrich George outside of this group in 13th place on the lead lap. Kyle St. Jean did not complete the final 5 laps. Robert Keach Jr. only completed 73, and Toby Estes only completed 4. to round out the 16 truck field here tonight. Heavy burnouts for the 5 still in this race. We do have podium interviews to do. Let's see if we can talk to, let's see if we can start with Bren Roberts here, third place finisher tonight. Bren, obviously a wild race, a lot of physicality across 12 cautions in this event. Walk us through it from your perspective.
Folks out here in these trucks. Track was fun, pretty racy all throughout the field, and mostly everybody raced clean. And there at the end, I thought I was going to get Blake, but fortunately, I just burned up my tires a little too much. I got to ask him what he was doing there, but yeah, a lot of fun and very racy, and that's really all you can ask for.
Very physical was the race tonight. Everyone was involved in something, it felt like, in this race. Obviously, a tight battle at the front between you, Blake, Kyle St. Jean, Matt Vondren, especially there at the end. Josh Gaiman was there applying pressure and ultimately grabbed the position there at the very end. Walk us through that sort of part of it. What was it all just fair game, or was there a line being crossed on track tonight?
I mean, I think it was all fair game, probably except the part where I intentionally wrecked Kyle St. John. But, I mean, you got to set the tone every now and then, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. I felt like, I was being raced harder than should have been. Did I overreact? Maybe. But, set the tone. Is what it is.
Ultimately, this 84 car ends up on the podium once again, 7 races down in the season. Spring kicks off, I think, in a pretty fair way here. That being said, these trucks kind of are a lot of fun at a lot of places. Talladega coming up next Saturday is going to be an interesting one, and then Kern Raceway. We go back short track racing in 2 weeks' time. What's the excitement level getting these trucks back to a wide open track, the place where you got your first ARCS win?
Yeah, I love Talladega. I love racing the plate tracks and the drafting tracks. We'll see if I'm allowed to run next week. We'll see what happens. But if I am, I plan on being there as long as my schedule allows me to. Field's great, especially the drafting tracks. So we'll have a lot of fun and put on a show.
That's what we're all hoping for here. Before we let you go and let you enjoy the rest of your Easter weekend, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Your teammate Jacob Blankenship was watching along tonight, but take it away.
Yeah, shout out to Jacob, the rare Jacob Blankenship appearance in ARCS broadcasts. So shout out to him. Good to see him make an appearance. And then obviously Blake for the performance he put on. He was probably the fastest truck all race, really, and got a little physical there in the middle. Had to keep reminding him to take care of his stuff because he really was the best truck, and he was going to win the race if he did. So shout out to him, and then shout out to you for the broadcast as always. They're always fun to go back and watch. So yeah, thank you.
A phenomenal job for Bren Roberts. He finishes 3rd tonight after starting this race in 4th. Consistent all throughout the night here in New Hampshire. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was Bren Roberts, our 3rd place finisher tonight. We'll move up to our pole sitter, who had to recover from 2 laps down to finish in 2nd place. Unfortunately, unable to grab the race win, just timing not working out. 12 cautions, though, as much as it was a poison, it was a blessing for that 61 truck to get back on the lap at all. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, it's just I probably should have fixed damage whenever I got it on that first caution there. It wouldn't have put me in a spot where I kind of got chucked into the corner a little rough there. But that's hindsight, and just lucky to get the laps back when I did and be able to charge through the field there and get a good 2nd place there.
A lot of fun here tonight. Again, very physical racetrack here. Bren Roberts said that for the most part, it seemed like it was all fair game, just with the physicality here. These flat tracks tend to do that, whether it's Milwaukee, whether it's New Hampshire. What was the feeling like for you? Obviously, that car had some beating and banging going on tonight as well. Was it all fair game for you? And if so, What was it? What was the experience like just coming back from 2 laps down? Because that was a majority of your race.
Yeah, it's not sadly. It's sad to say I'm not really that unfamiliar with it. I wish I was, but it seems to be a thing. I go 2 laps down and then I get them all back and come up through the field. So, yeah, it was pretty rough physical race, but like you said, it's New Hampshire. It's gonna happen. The truck drove really really good, surprisingly. I was ready to hate it, and it was actually very very fun to just get in there and wheel it around. The back end was a little happy coming out of the corners, but with how this thing drives now, it's just a riot to get in there and wheel it, especially at tracks like this where you're not really worried too much about the aero. You're more worried about where the grip's coming from with the tires and the suspension. So yeah, it was really fun. I had a good time. So yeah, hope everybody else was too, because a little beating and banging is fine. It a little out of hand every once in a while, but it seemed to situate itself by the end of the race.
And the next 2 races, you're going to see a little bit more of that Talladega next weekend, and then Kern Raceway after that. So some short track racing coming up here once again in just a couple weeks' time. A lot of excitement, it seems, from the field getting ready for Talladega, second plate race of the season behind the season opener at Daytona. What's the feeling like for you? Obviously, we've seen you win at Talladega before. Is there excitement with this truck going back to the plates?
It's been a good while since I've plate raced the truck, so yeah, I'd say I'm pretty excited for it. I like Talladega a lot more than I like Daytona. Just every time I go there, it seems to race a lot better, and just a little, it's a little wider, so you get to move around a bit more, and you're not stacked up on top of each other quite as bad. So yeah, I'm glad to go to Talladega and turn some laps there, and then go right back to a short track.
Going to be a lot of fun to see how these trucks handle out over the next couple weeks here. We kick off the month of April with Easter weekend. No racing for the most part tomorrow, I don't believe. So before we let you go and let you enjoy your Easter weekend and the rare off day from sim racing, it feels like, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you, the floor is yours. Congrats on the pole position and almost the complete recovery drive.
Yeah, yeah. I'll shout out everyone putting this high octane series together. It's a lot of fun. The truck is in such a good place right now. It's easily my favorite like stock car oval car in iRacing right now. Just the way it drives, the way it races around other vehicles, and shout out to you for doing these broadcasts and every little thing you do behind the scenes. It's been interesting to see where ABN's going. And shout out to Fleming.
Absolutely a huge shout out to obviously Chris Fleming, who, as we mentioned, his uncle Scott was the namesake of this event tonight. Now, obviously, as you mentioned, you're part of the good old Patreon group, so you get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. Gonna be fun seeing all that stuff come out this week over the next couple weeks. So, Josh, obviously, congratulations again tonight. Enjoy the rare off day from all the sim racing insanity, and hopefully, we get to talk to you again next week in Talladega.
Hopefully.
That was Josh Gaiman, your second place finisher after starting this race on pole position. For the first time ever, we have to talk to Blake Galloway as a race winner here on ABN television at this point. We've seen him across several different leagues, across several different series, several different communities. We've talked to him before. He's been a podium finisher, just not a race winner. That changes tonight here. Blake Galloway, the race winner, after starting on the front row. Had one of the fastest trucks tonight. That was no question. But it was a physical race. Walk us through it.
Yeah. Well, for one thing, tires were a big factor in the race, obviously, tonight. And there was some physicality with those differing strategies, I think, with tires and such.
Obviously a huge battle here for the 5 camp. Obviously a lot of physicality. Elbows out there with the 55 of Kyle St. Jean. You got obviously a battle there with Brendan Roberts, battle there with Matt Thorngren as well. A huge group of cars at the front of the field here at New Hampshire. We don't see you very often on the shorter ovals. Usually most of the time that we see you, it's usually on the plate tracks or the larger intermediates. This truck had a lot of pace in it. walk us through sort of what that was like. It seems like you had that unlocked from the start, and for us up here in the booth, we didn't have that on the bingo card. Was that something? Was this something that you're really just excelling at, or was it sort of just a we figured something out with this truck being updated?
Yeah, I've always had something about this track. I've always had something figured out. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, something just clicks here for me in any car, really. Seem to have more success here than some of the other short tracks that we go to.
Obviously, the contact there, a lot of it in this race. You got to survive it. You had to drive through the field as well. A couple of drivers had to do that to get back to the podium. You were no exception. There were a lot of contact with the 55 of Kyle St. Jean. Bryn Roberts said that he felt like he was being raced a little bit too hard by the 55. It seemed like the 55 was trying to play some shenanigans late on into the race there. Ultimately, it didn't affect you as far as your ability to secure the race win. But what was your thoughts there on all of that as we walk through the rest of the New Hampshire race?
Yeah, we were racing really hard there, and there was a couple times where I was getting a little annoyed with him, but I wasn't gonna overdo it. I was just gonna kind of give back to what he was giving me that I felt. And the last one that I gave to him, I actually couldn't see him. Going on the back, I lost all cars. So I just kind of drove way down at the bottom, kind of hoping nobody was going to be there, because it was kind of at the end of the backstretch, and I guess someone told me that we got into each other there, so that was unfortunate. But yeah, it was elbows out. I felt like I didn't cross the line, like, to deserve what I got, like 5 laps to go, but it is what it is. We still came out on top.
And we get to go from a track that you really good at here in New Hampshire, apparently, to another track that we see you quite frequently, Talladega next Saturday. What's the feeling like going into that race? Are we going to see you again and try to go back to back here?
Yeah, I always try to go to the plate tracks for sure. Haven't had much luck lately with them, but I'm sure we'll try to go to the front and stay there.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see how all of it plays out next Saturday. Glad to see you on the racetrack and glad to be able to talk to you from Victory Lane for the first time on ABN. Before we let you go and let you enjoy your Easter weekend, though, obviously a pretty big weekend for the holidays, everything considered. If there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on your first race win on ABN television and a fantastic drive all the way through here in New Hampshire.
Well, I just want to say thank you to you for always putting on a good show for everybody watching. Thanks to Bren for kind of helping me a little bit here and there, strategy and stuff, and wish everybody a happy Easter.
Absolutely a fantastic job for Blake Galloway. Start on the front row. Very seldomly was that 5 car not near the front of the field, and he grabs the race win here in New England. Blake, congratulations, and obviously we'll hopefully talk to you again next weekend.
Thank you.
That was Blake Galloway, your race winner here tonight. And again, I do want to shout out here Chris Fleming and his family. Obviously, we talked about it at the start of the show here tonight, and obviously the race was underway, so we didn't spend a lot of time on it. To further kind of explain things before we end off tonight's show, our hearts are with Fleming and his family. His uncle Scott, as we mentioned, suffered a cardiac arrest episode earlier in the week and is currently on a ventilator at this time as the family tries to determine their next steps going forward here. The celebration of life tonight is something that happens very often in ARCS. We've seen it happen here on ABN on 5 different occasions, which is it's unfortunate that it happens, but it is unfortunately what this weekend means for Chris Fleming and the difficult decisions that lie ahead. Our thoughts and our condolences for Fleming and his family. This race obviously was for Scott, and we put on a show here tonight. we're off tomorrow night for Easter. And we hope everyone enjoys time with the families and with the traditions, whatever those traditions may be. Our thoughts and prayers for Scott, for Chris, and his entire family. And we appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. We have nothing going on tomorrow. Business picks up for us here on ABN again on Monday. And a lot of that is going to be over on Patreon. We have podcasts. We have race replays. We have a bunch of different behind-the-scenes stuff. The QR code is at the bottom right of your screen. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate you supporting us as we kick off this new YouTube live era. Join us again on Patreon later this week and again next Saturday as High Octane heads to Talladega. On behalf of everyone here for ARCS, for High Octane, Drip Diecast and Collectibles, Just the Top Media, all of the partners, and everyone here at ABN, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you so much. Stay safe and stay healthy. Happy Easter, and we'll see you next time here on ABN.